What's going on out there in the world? How you guys doing? This is Eric Brent, and yes, I represent the Family Cash Machine. We always talk about economics. We talk about mainly cryptocurrencies. We talk about investments. We talk about a global economy, how money works. We actually have a class that we're teaching several classes, not myself, but so many other individuals we have teaching these courses about economics. And I saw this today. Actually, yesterday I was watching Dr. Boyce Watkins. He had me laughing. I saw this story several times, and I'm not one to story jump. I don't like to jump on certain stories unless it, to me, is relevant to economics, because my whole thing is economics. I feel like that black people around the world have become economic tools, and the whole institution of slavery was about money. And right now, the central banks and the Federal Reserve and these small groups of pockets of people that print money and loan money to the governments, they are very, very strategic in their in their system to economically suppress black people, and also that the mindset of a lot of racists are is basically executed in economics. And so I wanted to kind of address this a little bit with Oprah Winfrey. And, I kind of am in a limbo with this because Oprah Winfrey, I used to cut, when I was a barber, I was cutting this gentleman's hair. I'm not going to say his name. And he was one of her assistants. And we became very tight. And I would kind of send messages to Oprah through him. He was back and forth from Chicago to Los Angeles, this gentleman. And actually, Oprah turned my twins on to a grant that herself and Diana Ross were actually a part of for black kids in college. And my twins actually applied for that grant every year. It's like $1,500 a piece, and they got it. So I didn't know if I wanted to do this thing here, but I got to speak out and I got to put my 5 cents in it because I need to connect the dots with economics. Now, 50 Cent made I got to give 50 Cent props, man. 50 Cent, he put Oprah on blast on this because for years, I kind of saw things with Oprah that was a little detrimental to black men. But Oprah got her money from filling the void of women. There was a void for the voice of women on national TV, on daytime talk shows and stuff like that. So her journalism is impeccably incredible. But I kind of question this right now why she's going after. When she did the Neverland thing, it just kind of really, I dropped my jaw on that one because the gentleman that she did the documentary on. Now remember, a documentary is not proof. A documentary, anybody can do a documentary, but a documentary is not actually saying you're guilty. That's just someone's opinion and their facts that they're showing against you. A documentary is not what I want to say, a positive guilty verdict. It's just not, but it can be manipulated to look that way. So when Oprah Winfrey did the Neverland thing, I was a little thrown away for a loop there because Michael Jackson, the same individual that accused him in that Neverland, there was 5 judges that threw that case out. And so it was a lot of information that was not added there. And I just feel like economically, I feel like the attack on Michael Jackson came higher up because Michael Jackson was doing some very revolutionary things in the music industry economically, if you guys don't know. Okay, Michael Jackson actually owned half of Sony, $80 billion industry. He owned some of Beyonce's, Usher, Babyface. We can go on and on. The catalog is huge. He owns the Beatles. So Michael Jackson, in his announcement of "This Is It," he said, he talked about Sammy Davis Jr. He talked about Bojangles. He talked about Frank Sinatra and all the great, Fred Astaire's, all the greats who basically died, not broke, but they made billions of dollars for these entities. They were kind of taken advantage of. Some of them did die broke. And he talked about that, and he said They never thought in a million years that I would beat them at their own game. Mike was a bad man. I was watching Michael Jackson last night. I mean, this guy, I ask people all the time, who's the Pope? I ask people all the time, who was the former Pope? And people a lot of times don't know. And the Pope is one of the most powerful guys on the planet. But you go anywhere in the world and they know Michael Jackson. They know Michael Jackson. So his fame, his infamy, excuse me, became very threatening to the globalists. His power became threatening. His influence. And Mike was a very passive, I'm not going to say passive, but he was a very, humble guy. But if he ever was to turn revolutionary, we have a problem. And that's how they think. So they had to destroy his character. Now, one of the things that Dick Gregory made known is when Michael Jackson signed that contract, not contract, but I guess he beat Sony in court and sued him and some more stuff or whatever. But he won. He got half of Sony Records, all the publishing. Wow. Mike was a bad dude. You got to remember he was raised by Berry Gordy. He wasn't a joke. He was very smart and calculated. Okay, and so Michael Jackson in that contract has stated that if he was to create a felon or die, that interest didn't go to his trust fund and went back to Sony. So here they hit him with this first lawsuit. He had Johnny Cochran. At the time, Mike Tyson went to jail. At the time, Tupac went to jail. Wasn't looking too good for black men in court. So Johnny Cochran said, man, this kid can spot, identify little, identifying marks on your genitals and stuff like that. So you might want to pay these people out. So Mike cashed them out. The next time they came with a case against Mike, Mike said, screw this, I'm fighting it. And Mike went to court. He went to court and fought it and won. The next thing you know, they got to kill him now. You got to remember, the music industry is not making the money it used to make. All the money is in royalties and publishing rights. And Mike has half of Sony's publishing rights. You guys got to look deeper than this. This economic thing is deep. So 50 Cent is accusing now Oprah of attacking black men for sexual harassment. Now, I want these women out there to get it misconstrued. I'm not a person who believes in sexual harassment. I'm a person that believes that law should be equal. Whoever does any violation to women, I think they should be punished severely. I got 4 daughters. So therefore, I'm not one who believes in any kind of sexual harassment. I've never raped a woman ever in my life. And so everything's always been consensual. But my thing is, why is Oprah only going after black men? 50 Cent got a point there. Because Gail went after R. Kelly. Now, R. Kelly done some despicable things because it's on video for everybody to see. I didn't even want to see the video because, I had a barbershop at that time, and to even watch it in my barbershop could be a crime, or child pornography, or whatever. So I didn't even want to watch it in my shop. I didn't let nobody watch that in my shop. At least they didn't watch it while I was around. But maybe when I wasn't around, they did. But I'm going to say, she's only going after black men. He's right. I gotta agree with 50 Cent on that. Let me read 50 Cent's statements here, because this is getting out of control right here. Let me read 50 Cent's statements. And 50 Cent, he just recently, I guess, put it on Instagram that he said, I don't understand why Oprah is going after black men. No Harvey Weinstein, no Epstein, and Epstein was molesting little kids. And Michael Jackson and Russell Simmons. He says, that shit is sad. And I gotta agree with 50 Cent on here. And I'm gonna go further down this little article I'm reading about this situation, because there's several white men that have also been accused. And Oprah Winfrey made a statement that she was friends with Harvey Weinstein. And there was one girl that said Oprah actually sent her to Weinstein, and they agreed that she should do whatever, I guess, for favors. I don't know. I don't know how true that is, but at the same time, it's like sexual harassment is sexual harassment, period. If a guy is guilty of this, he needs to be punished. But I'm seeing something economic here. I'm seeing here there's an attempt to destroy the legacy of black men. And these are famous black men. And if you guys know and understand anything about fame and infamy, a person is worth more when they're dead than actually living. So they're attacking our legacies. You don't see anybody coming up with any stories of Elvis. That's dead, because Elvis is dead. You don't see anybody trying to dig up anything on Frank Sinatra. Why? Why did they attack Michael Jackson after Michael Jackson died? She came out with this documentary. And I'm like, what the hell, Oprah? Was that a low blow? Because Michael Jackson's not here to even defend himself. I didn't appreciate what she did, like I said, because the guy who making the claim, he's had 5 judges throw that out of court because it was inconsistencies in his story. And so for you to go carry that story after the guy died and tarnish his legacy, that was a low blow. That was a very low blow, I think, without any countering information. And you did the documentary as though this is the fact, see? And so again, Oprah, what are you doing? What are you doing, Oprah? Who are you working for? And why are you only going after black men? Because I know recently you had a situation with Jeffrey Epstein. She's not doing a documentary on that. She's doing a documentary on Russell Simmons. She's not doing a documentary on Kevin Spacey. Donald Trump was even charged several times with sexual harassment. Nothing's happened to this guy. I mean, he's even admitted that he groped women. Groped women? What does that mean? He just grabs the crotch. Like, I mean, this is not right. I've never just grabbed a woman in the crotch. You know, I have sister. I have, like I said, I have daughters, but even growing up with a sister, if a guy would have did that to my sister, it would have been all out hell. I don't care if he was 6'9". I was a little short guy. We'd have had some problems. So again, you guys, I'm not understanding what Oprah's agenda is. Now I heard somebody say, well, she must have a plan. And I'm not understanding the plan, because sexual harassment is sexual harassment. And the Jeffrey Epsteins and the Kevin Spaceys and the Donald Trumps and the Harvey Weinsteins, these guys just get away with it. But Oprah's only going after the black men. And it's tarnishing their legacy. Now let's look at Russell Simmons for a minute. Here's the guy who really mainstreamed hip hop. Here's the guy who had Def Jam comedy, Def Jam movies. He had the Fat Farm. I mean, he really mainstreamed hip hop as a culture, as a clothing, as a way of life, music, as just a whole, you know, hip hop culture. And to just tarnish this guy's legacy, for me, I got a problem with this, man, because I see economic behind this, racial economics. Now we know Oprah's not racial, but Oprah is doing the work of those that want to financially destroy us and destroy our legacies. That's what I'm seeing. I mean, it's not making sense to me why she's not covering the white stories. If you're going to cover sexual harassment, cover sexual harassment. Now, I know Oprah mentioned before that she was sexually harassed before by one of her uncles or something like that. And so psychologically, that damages a person. You know, that was my major in college, was psychology and sociology. And I ended up, you know, analyzing properties. That's funny. But at the same, and now I analyze economics and I analyze situations like this. So I'm pretty sure her uncle wasn't white. So she could have some resentment towards black men. She could have some unresolved issues with black men, you know, and it happens. But this has got to stop, man. It's like, okay, I wouldn't have a problem if she did the documentary on Russell Simmons and Kevin Spacey, or Russell Simmons and, you know, Weinstein. She said she's not going to cover the Weinstein because he's a personal friend of hers. Well, you can't. I got friends too. If one of my friends go and molest a little girl, he ain't my friend no more. I'm sorry. You're not my friend. You're not my friend if you go molest a little boy. You're not my friend no more. I don't want to be your friend. We have nothing in common. We have nothing to talk about. I will turn on you like that if I find out something like that about my friend. I'm not going to protect you. I'm not going to protect my sons. I'm not going to protect my cousins if I find out something like that about them. I have no loyalty to you anymore. So for her to show a sense of loyalty to him, that's kind of strange to me. Because you also were friends with Michael Jackson. You were all on Neverland doing interviews with him. He opened up to you. Michael didn't give interviews to everybody. You also were friends with Russell Simmons, because I see that 50 Cent put pictures up of you and Russell. Russell is a major figure in the Black community, because it would be no Jay-Z. It would be no Puff Daddy without Russell Simmons. It would be no Jay Prince. It would be no Suge Knight. None of those guys without Russell Simmons. Okay? So, or Master P, which I love Master P. So it would be none of those guys if Russell didn't lay that down, how that should be done, and the way he did it. I mean, if you really knew that guy's story, man, this guy went through hell. And I think his brother, I don't even think his brother was signed under Run DMC. And he was really very instrumental in Run DMC. But, you know, I think they took that all them from him. So he went through a lot of hell, man, with that. But he prevailed because he was persistent, he was consistent, and you know, I had an opportunity one time to be in the room with Russell, very aggressive businessman. He talked to you straight up. He gonna give it to you raw. He's not gonna put no cut on it. But again, if Russell did this, why is it taking 35, 40 years for somebody to come forth? The same thing with Bill Cosby. You're talking 40 years, people coming forth. And the other thing I don't like about Russell Simmons' case right now is ABC, CBS. All of these news channels are admitting evidence that could make him guilty, but they're suppressing evidence that could show he didn't do this. They're excluding evidence. They're not showing the evidence that can actually show he's innocent. I got a problem with that. I got a real problem with that. And Oprah's doing this documentary knowing that evidence and information is being suppressed. Oprah, what is you doing? You're destroying the legacy of our Black men, and that is economically. That is an economic reverberation, negative effect on that. That's my problem with it, okay, you guys? So I'm looking at it from economics. I'm not looking at it from the gossip part of it. I rarely do these type of shows where where I talk about something that somebody tweeted or something that I heard, you know, somebody else say, or Dr. Boyce talked about. I rarely do that, but because I know there's an economic effect, and what they're doing is trying to attack the legacy, okay, of powerful Black men. Why? Because these powerful Black men have created generational wealth. So if we can cut that off, woo, we can cut off the generational wealth. See, they looking at this bigger than you guys, man. This is way bigger than Oprah. This is way bigger than Oprah. This is about stopping the legacy of wealth, because these guys have started wealth legacies now. See, Puff Daddy, you know, Master P. These type of guys have created legacy wealth. Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby. This is legacy wealth. So we have to cut down the legacy. And that's why I'm on this story right now. What I want you guys to see about this is there is a legacy that they're trying to stop from generational wealth and from wealth trickling down to the next generation and the next generation. This is institutional financial racism. And it's deep, and it's a lot of people don't see it. But I'm telling you, to cut these guys off and to attack their characters, that's what they're doing. See, it's interesting how deep racism is in America. And they pocket watch us all the time. I say this all the time. You know, when the Black guy walk in the bank and put $300,000 in the bank, the first thing they want to know is where he get that from? How he get $300,000? See, they pocket watch. They pocket watch. And so that's what that is. They pocket watch. And so this is what's going on. This is what's going on in America. It's a lot of racism. This It's embedded in finance and money and economics. And so what's happening is when you go and buy a Lamborghini, you know, I like the video. It was a video that I forgot Young Black did. My son showed me the video. Young Black went and bought a Lamborghini cash. He's a rapper, you know, he got a lot of real estate. This guy's doing his thing. He went and bought it cash because that was his dream. You know, I probably would have never did that, but that was his dream to do that because, you know, he might have grew up as a kid watching the dope dealers and do their thing, and he might have just had a fantasy to do that. I mean, this is a free country. When he did that, they called the police. They called all kind of law enforcement. They seized this money because in their mind, where did this black man get $1 million from? He might have a rich uncle. He might have invested in Wall Street. I mean, who knows? But this is the kind of economic racism that goes down. Now, I'm having a real problem with this because I teach generational wealth. I teach generational wealth. So with that, that's what it's about. It's about them stopping your generational wealth. Not only stopping generational wealth, from stopping you from having money at all. They don't like to see black people having money like this. The way we've been having money, they don't like to see that. So these guys didn't just make money. Michael Jackson didn't just make money with his talent. He was very talented. Yes, he made stupid money with his talent, but he made the most money on his assets. The Beatles and his portfolio with Sony, which he got that with his brain. They don't like that, okay? So for Oprah to attack his character, I don't know, man. I'm the guy that got the call to do Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. I came that close to doing the appraisal after he left it alone before he died and all that. You know, the insurance company bailed him out. They paid for that place, but he had let it go. He was ready to go. He was ready to go, and he didn't want to go there no more. And so I think some investor was going to buy it. I came that close to doing the appraisal, and he had a lot of things there. I noticed he had a lot of things there for handicapped kids. He had spent millions of dollars, so any kid, no matter what their handicap was, could come and enjoy Neverland. I mean, he did some amazing things. And in fact, I know Bill Cosby and Michael Jackson are probably the biggest philanthropists in the history of black entertainment. Meaning they gave more money to black colleges, more money to black people, more money to third world countries, more money to Africa, more money to the homeless, more money to all of the causes in the world. And Michael Jackson gave hundreds of millions of dollars to charities, children and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. This to me is just hurting my heart, really, because again, like I said, it's economic for me. It's them destroying the possibility of generational wealth for these people. So Oprah, don't be the tool like that. Go after the Weinsteins. Go after Kevin Spacey. Show sexual harassment wherever it exists, and I have no problem with you because you're a woman and you should highlight sexual harassment and you should highlight men of power using that to negatively subdue women. I like that at all. But don't target black men. And don't target the black men who could leave a legacy and who could create generational wealth for their families. That's what I'm seeing that I don't like. So with that, you guys, this is Eric Brent. There's a family cash machine. I had to touch on that. My heart was I had to speak on that, man, because like I said, it's economics. It's a financial racism in economics. Now, again, if a black person is doing the work of white supremacy, it's racism. It's still racism. If a black police officer is trying to impress the white police officer, it's racism. I don't care what black guy or white guy doing, it's still racism. So I'm getting kind of tired of addressing this nasty issue of racism, but it's so permeated in our everyday lives. And as a person teaching black people economics, it's just like the elephant in the room. I cannot not talk about it. It's the elephant in the room. So with that, you guys, I'm going to ask you guys to like, subscribe this channel, and make sure you give me your email. I got other platforms where my videos are at, because YouTube now, as of December the 10th, they're going around snatching people's channel off. They're censoring. They don't want certain truth out. They want everybody to just be laughing and dancing, but they don't want people to understand what's happening. They're being pressured by CIA and the government and all that to shush people down. So make sure I get your information, because I'm going to keep bringing information to the people that they need to hear. I'm going to keep tying and connecting the dots with the economics and stuff like that. But again, like I said, you guys, just look at this stuff for what it is. Look at it very closely, how they're attacking the legacy of our great ones that could stop generational wealth. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. This is Eric Brent. You guys grab that link underneath here. We have a Phoenix course, free course. We have a couple other courses that you guys can pay for. And I'm going to say this, I always say this, you can never go wrong when you invest in yourself. If you invest in knowledge, you can never go wrong. I don't have my appraiser's license anymore, but I can buy properties. I can do gross rent multipliers. I know how to do cap rates. I know how to do narratives. Nobody can take what I know. Feasibility studies, I still know the math. I still know the numbers. Income approach, sales comparison approach. I can still do it. Cost approach. I have the knowledge. I paid for the knowledge. So if you guys pay for knowledge for you, this economic knowledge that you can use today to benefit yourself with, whether it's blockchain technology or cryptocurrency, or whether it's just learning how to trade Forex, whatever it is, you come to the Family Cash Machine, you guys are going to learn that, and you're going to benefit from that information, and nobody will be able to take that from you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign out. This is Eric Brent. Peace.